This is so cringe. Oh my god, even. All right, I'm only like a minute in. It's a 10-minute video. I'm like a minute and a half in.
Yeah. Big man. Cenk's giving is on, folks.
I didn't even know it was called that. I love it.
Yeah, of course, dude. This is a tradition at this point. All right, you gotta come closer so we can have you on camera.
Here I am. Woo!
That's it. Cenk's giving is on. That's it.
Let's do this.
The uncle nephew broadcast is back. Okay, what's going on? How are you been?
I'm kind of awesome.
Murat just unmuted the third mic. He's gonna get in on this.
That's right, baby. This is some nephew on nephew action.
Okay, so listen, I'm great. Are we debating?
I mean, if you want to, I'm just.
Come on, man.
Nephew on nephew? No, it's nephew and uncle, right? Like, okay, I get that. Hasanabi, I get that this is your uncle. He's family. You love him. I get it. Oh my god.
I'm just seeing what you're up to. You know, you're Caruso's #1 defender. You've been trending for a couple days. I mean, Caruso took a fat L, so I'm sorry. I know that.
Oh no!
I know.
It was such a.
I'm sorry, but that ends any idea that Cenk is a leftist. He supported Rick Caruso over Karen Bass for LA mayor simply because he was so butthurt that he lost his endorsement from Bernie Sanders, and she got a rally. She got an endorsement and a rally. And this dude is such a misogynistic piece of shit that he was so jealous that he endorsed a millionaire or potentially billionaire, I can't remember, developer who would have been absolutely destructive for Los Angeles over Karen Bass, who is fairly progressive. Like, your credit is done, dude.
Big fan of his.
I know. I don't know how.
Over.
Oh, you got to talk closer to the microphone.
All right.
Also, I don't know how you got here. You know, this is crime-ridden streets.
Well,
there's crime everywhere.
That actually is true.
Why was he trending today? Because he actually said something that wasn't wrong, but like he said it in a way where people said it was cringe. So they got.
No, that's not true at all.
No, you said something like you got passionate about. I didn't even see the video. I just saw you.
Yeah.
Passionate about.
So no, I'm purposely picking a fight with Republicans. So they and then.
Oh, here, this is the one here.
Yeah. Here, you guys want to
look at that? Wait, hold on. Let me just tweet out that you're here. By the way.
So it's about the issue of Club Q and how Republicans are generally groomers, which is of course true, and so they caught feelings over that, which is also normal.
Being a groomer is not definitively connected to a political affiliation. I have met several groomers on the left side of the house. Let's be real. Like, it can happen anywhere. But it doesn't mean that you categorize an entire group of people based on their sexual identity or sexual orientation or whatnot as being groomers. It's just that there are terrible people in all groups.
And so I don't know if anybody else got caught feelings, but yeah. So you know the whole thing. Most of the major groomers in the country are Republicans. You know, Dennis Hastert, Donald Trump. You know the whole story.
Record holding.
Mark Foley, Roy Moore, you name it. So when you point out things that are true, whether it's me or you or anybody else, Republicans lose their minds. That's very, very normal.
Yeah, Matt Walsh, famous file, allegedly.
I don't know about it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So what is this? This guy.
Ed Buck, Bauman, Weinstein, Epstein. These were all left-leaners. There are a ton of groomers on the left, too. This is not by political affiliation. There are just terrible people in the world, and we, as a society, need to do a better job of weeding them out and making sure that they do not advance into leadership.
made these are like all old school like 4chan poll nerds who are literally all, I call them, I mean, I say they look and sound exactly like what's his name, the Peepee? What was the Peepee's first name? I keep saying Paul DePeepee, but that's not, like David. David DePeepee, right? Yeah, they're all like David DePeepee. They're like still wanting to go back to the halcyon days of 4chan when, like, you know, oh, we were memeing Donald Trump into the White House and stuff like that. So like basically,
Who is the dude walking around in the back of your set? It makes it look like you're broadcasting from a fucking novelty shop. This is weird. It's like you got a shopper like walking around in the back of your set.
that's what's going on here. Okay, these are the same dudes. Then anytime someone calls me out for being like Cenk's nephew, I'm always like, oh, okay, you're at least 40 years old.
So look, the memes never stop. The talking.
Are you saying that if we have any level of intelligence, that we must be old? Like, is that an ageist thing? I can't even. That's good. That's good. That's rich.
Points never stop. So they'll have like 12-year-old talking points against me in the comment section.
Yeah.
And then 7-year-old ones, 3-year-old ones, 1-year-old ones. Like, so, and everybody's got a different one. And they, in fact, they contradict one another. But it doesn't matter. Everybody's.
Well, I mean, if you have stuff that people are complaining about from just even 1 year ago, right? And we can go back over and over again. Don't you think that maybe you should make some corrections? Like, don't you think that, like, literally, if people are complaining about your behavior over time, that maybe you should make some corrections? Possibly? Like if we have multiple problems with your behavior over the course of over a decade, let's be real. Come on, dude.
Having fun.
Yeah. So what is this? What's going on here?
And the right wing's like, yes, I love how they molest the little kids like that. Go get them, Boy Scouts. Go get them, priests. Please vote for our molesters and our files. Republicans say. Republicans, you're guilty, okay? And I'll tell you right now, the number one reason they constantly talk about pedophilia is because it's going through their heads. Non-stop, they're thinking about kids. I guarantee it. The reason Tim Pool wears a beanie is because he's trying to contain the pedophilia that's in his head. That's what he's always talking about it. He's seeing it everywhere. Why?
No, but it's good. It's good, though. It's good. Come on, dude. I'm on board with this. This is good. It's good rhetoric. Form is good.
Well, I'll tell you, it sounds to me like you're trying to go after extremism, which is fine. But, I mean, there's extremism on both sides. But when you start going towards centricism, I don't know if I said that word correctly. I'm not sure. There's problems there too, and there's issues there too, and you're ignoring them. And I can't even that you literally just endorsed Rick Caruso simply for the fact that you were butthurt that you lost the endorsement from Bernie, and he came to LA and did a rally for Karen Bass. That's so fucked up, dude.
Alex Jones is a great entertainer. Let's be real.
Okay, so two things about that. Number one, the reason I went off on Tim Pool is because Tim Pool put out a tweet about how, they were doing a grooming event at Club Q.
Yeah.
Which basically means they had it coming.
And then they always say, we didn't mean all of them are groomers.
I don't care. If you're accusing them of being groomers just because they're drag queens, trans, LGBTQ, then you're a monster, a bigot, immoral, and likely a pedophile because you're probably doing projection for no reason. Because based on absolutely no evidence, when somebody walks into a room and goes, I bet somebody likes sleeping with kids, likely they're the ones who want to sleep with kids.
Here's the thing. There's a lot of like, it was M. HUD, right, who said it. Is such a brilliant take. Michael said he's a community member, one of my moderators, also on Chapo FYM. He said something along the lines of like a lot of those dudes who are always like looking for pedophilia are doing that because they are like objectively the worst people in every group. Usually they're like the most annoying people, and pedophilia is the one thing that's worse than they are. So they're like, oh, that's a pedophile. Like because it's true. Like there's one thing that is like objectively worse than just like Republicans in general, is like, someone who's a pedophile. So they constantly are like, oh, that person's a pedophile, that person's a groomer.
So I have a simpler take, and it's one that a lot of people have. It's that it's just running through their head 24/7. And so they think, oh, if I'm thinking it nonstop, I bet everybody's thinking it nonstop. That's why, like, Alex Jones and Joe Rogan and Tim Pool are constantly talking about trans folks, because they're thinking about trans folks 24/7.
Oh, yeah, no.
And that's, we've talked about this before. Alex Jones puts out his phone once.
Yeah, they're
and
chasers.
trans porn,
Yeah, he's a chaser. A lot of the like far right people are also chasers themselves. Like, not necessarily that they don't. It's not that they have like internalized transphobia or something, but like they just can't be comfortable with their sexual desires. If they were just normal and were comfortable, they wouldn't be constantly like trying to own trans people and like push them aside and try to like.
Oh, I bet they want to
force them.
And I bet they want to get owned by them. I bet they have a lot of thoughts about that.
Yeah, but ultimately, you said something about Republicans projecting or self-reporting, that they're like constantly talking about like children's genitals, which is true. It's weird, bro. It's weird as. That's why I've said this before as well. Like the pedo hunters and stuff on YouTube are always so strange. Like, I get what you're trying to do, but half the time you come across as like also a weirdo, which is
hashtag save the children. I actually I have helped a local activist who actually was voted one of Orange County's most influential people, because she's been getting each city, municipality to pass resolutions objecting to child marriage. And one of the things that she has faced is that there are some centrist Democrats or centrist Republicans who don't want to sign on because they don't want to be connected to the idea of this conspiracy theory that Hollywood has like a pedophile sex ring. Like I said, there are bad people in every group. There are sick people in every group. And you can't categorize one group or the other as being the group that has like the most abusive people, because there are abusive people all over the place. That being said, you have to like boil it down to who's doing the best work to protect people, to save workers, to save victims, to save people on the streets, but you can't generalize that like the Republicans are obviously worse or the Democrats are obviously worse, right? It's more of these are individual anecdotal type of stories. And unfortunately, our society is still in a place where we allow these people to get into leadership roles or influencer roles.
Weird, because you are literally in the room with the pedophile. Like, how are you even remotely weird in that circumstance? Like, you found one of the worst people that you could have found. Someone who's trying to do child predation, molestation, and you still are so strange that it is impossible not to notice how weird you're being. Okay? So, it's just a very odd dynamic.
Do you think there's a single person that's like I didn't even hear the term pedo hunter before, but that it does that genuinely? I think every one of them is just trolling. I don't think that they care about pedophilia at all, other than potentially being interested in it.
I mean, they're just like constantly also like portraying themselves like 12-year-olds on the internet to catch pedophiles. I'm like, that's weird, bro. Like, what you're doing is weird.
Oh, okay. So people do that. I didn't even know they did.
Yeah,
Well, they're creating internet games. These are like virtual reality games that they're creating. This is, like I said on a different live stream, they are appealing to the society of America that really loves ghost stories, conspiracy theories and ghost stories, right? So this is a fucking game to them.
You know what? I mean,
a lot of people are just doing it for the content,
like,
too.
That actually is trying to, like, it's probably a bad idea. I'm sure it's the wrong way to go about it. I'm sure they're going to make up stuff. But at least that's, like, trying to find someone who's doing it as opposed to just randomly calling everybody groomers and pedophiles, which is
even those guys. I'm just saying, like, even those guys are kind of weird, but like the right wing is infinitely weirder than that, which is why which is why they're constantly doing it. I mean, it is unhinged. It's unhinged. After the Colorado shooting, a lot of these people didn't even say like, oh man, violence is abhorrent or anything. Like Ben Shapiro said that and then still ran defense, right, for anti-LGBT rhetoric. But like Matt Walsh straight up, I don't ever think he even said like, oh, what happened was bad. Like, I think at this point they're very openly like, no, what happened was bad only because not enough gay people died. You know what I mean? Like,
did you see the dad's?
Well, on top of it, they came after the shooter for being non-binary and acting like that is like some sort of condemnation against non-binary people. And the reality is, like, your sexual orientation, your identity, gender, like your gender identity. I think I actually do have dyslexia. I don't know. Has nothing to do with what your political belief system is. And that dude was, whoever, like them, was clearly right-leaning. And what tends to happen with the right-leaners when they do fall into these identities is that they feel guilty about it because they get so much shit from their side of the house. There's more acceptance on the left than there is on the right. And they end up feeling so guilty that they do really weird fucking things to accommodate for it, like that. Or like enter the priesthood. Because they're trying to like suppress who they are so that they can, have the appearance of goodness. But in this case, the person took those feelings and turned them into aggression. But this is not representative of the entire population of these particular groups. And it never will be because people are individuals.
Video?
Which
It's the shooter's dad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's typical Republican.
Yeah, that's a typical Republican.
As a typical conservative.
My son murdered 5 people and shot another 18. Oh, but at least he's not gay. Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean,
he didn't even show 1%.
Okay, but he's also like on meth. You know what I mean? That dude is like a meth head, right?
I literally know gay people who are Republican. I know several gay people who are Republican. So like that's not even like a fucking. I know black people who are Republican. I know gay people who are Republican. Like, this is the idea that we just categorize everybody and be like, oh, well, if you're black, you can't possibly be Republican. If you're gay, you can't possibly be Republican. That is not true. There are a lot of people who fucking want to save their wealth because they think that they're not going to get taxed as much. They're not going to have to, like, contribute to society and improve their neighborhoods.
Which is also a pretty Republican thing.
Okay, I mean, I don't think these are like political boundaries that I agree with. I think just like a lot of conservatives do shit like that, though.
Do you know a single conservative that has like legitimate opinions anymore?
No, but I never thought that they had. Yeah. Bro, I think you're a conservative. What do you mean?
Then you found one. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, there are conservatives with like legitimate opinions. They're in the Democratic Party.
Yeah, that's right. That makes sense.
It's like conservatives like can stand.
That was good. That was good, dude. Thanks for calling him out.
And I do think that like oftentimes are coming at most issues from a point of empathy, but then sometimes miss the mark. There you go, Democrats and Uncle Cenk.
Look, it would be a great day in America if I'm considered the outer boundaries of a legitimate conservative.
Yeah, no, was it Rothbard who said that?
Yeah, well, look, I'll tell you, I said it 20 years ago when we started the Young Turks, no joke. Ben and I were on the air, and I said, look, dude, at this point, the left is 100% defeated. If we ever get to a point where we're considered moderates, that means you'll know that we're close to winning. And so here we are.
Well, I'll say this. If that's where we're landing, which I think that is where we're landing, then folks like Cenk should actually Republican enter. and start transforming that party from within. There are some of you who abandoned the party because it was getting taken over by extremists. Why don't you take it back? Take it back.